Welcome to my classroom. In this Mass Transfer 1 course, in this model number 1, molecular diffusion, we are into this lecture number 17, where we are going to discuss about numerical on effective diffusion in porous media. In lecture number 16, what we have discussed, we have seen a case study of solid catalyst, wherein we have seen when the macropores and micropores are present, how we define the system for a bidisperse system, or how surface diffusion takes place under the activation process. We have defined what is pore volume and porosity. We have seen empirical equations to determine the diffusivity in pores based on random pore model, how to determine the effective diffusivity, combined overall effective diffusivity. We have seen the theory part of it. Okay. In this lecture, we are going to solve numerical on it. Ready? With your calculator, please. So in this lecture number 17, we are going to discuss about numerical on combined effective diffusivity. Okay, so actually if you look at the hydrogenation of ethylene to ethane, it is a model reaction which is widely used whenever a new catalyst is made. People used to check that effectiveness of the catalyst, to study the dimensions, to establish the properties of it. People carry out this experiment of hydrogenation of ethylene to ethane. Okay, so this usually done under the catalyst of nickel. Okay, so if you look at this problem, a hydrogenation catalyst is prepared by soaking alumina particles in aqueous nickel nitrate solution, and a hydrogenation catalyst is prepared by soaking alumina particles in aqueous nickel nitrate solution. After drying and reduction, the particles are made into large cylindrical pellets, each pellet weighing 3.15 grams and having 3.22 centimeter cube volume. Each pellet weighing 3.15 gram and having 3.22 centimeter cube volume. The alumina particles contain micropores, and the petting process introduces macropores surrounding the particles. Okay, the alumina particle contains micropores, and the pelleting process introduces macropores surrounding the particles. Experimental measurements showed that the macropore volume is 0.40. Experimental measurements showed that the macropore volume of each pellet is 0.645 centimeter cube, and the micropore volume is 0.40 centimeter cube per gram. The average micropore radius is 50 angstroms, and the average macropore radius is 750 angstroms. We know that 1 angstrom is 10 power minus 10 meters, right? And it is asked that to compute the combined effective diffusivity. Compute the combined effective diffusivity of hydrogen in the catalyst pellet if it is being used for hydrogenation of ethylene at 100 degrees Celsius and 1 atmosphere pressure. So we know the reaction taking place, that ethylene hydrogenation, it is going to react, ethylene will react with hydrogen to form ethane, C2H4 plus H2 giving C2H6. Okay, so we can solve this problem. So whatever data is given, we are going to write it, and it is simply mentioned, the reaction is not mentioned in detail. Only one word is given, that hydrogenation of ethylene. What is this hydrogenation of ethylene? Okay, so this is the reaction. Ethylene reacts with hydrogen to form ethane. So C2H4 becoming C2H6. So this hydrogen is effectively getting absorbed into the pores of the catalyst, and it by surface diffusion it moves from one active site to another active site, and then this reactant also enters. That reactant and hydrogen reacts to form ethane, and which will diffuse in the opposite direction. So we have reactant, gas reactant, which is hydrogen, which is entering, and we have ethane, which is traveling in the opposite direction, that is flux. If we say flux of A and flux of B, they are in counter direction. Okay, so in what proportion? We can see that from stoichiometry it is equimolar counter diffusion. When for every 1 mole of hydrogen there is 1 mole of ethane formation, so it is equimolar counter diffusion example. Okay, and as explained in the lecture number 16, please complete lecture number 16 where all the theory part and the concepts are to be used in this numerical are explained in detail. So this table 1 data and table 2 data we are going to make use. So this table 1 data is that we have LJ parameter sigma for different substances, gaseous molecules, for even including hydrogen, and we have epsilon by k value given. Okay, so that data we have to note down. And table 2, say actually in table 2 we have, once we get this epsilon by k value, we will make use of the absolute temperature T divided by this epsilon by k will get us the kt by epsilon dB value. Once we determine that value, we can corresponding id value can be taken from this equation. Okay, because these two equations are useful when we move towards determining the what is the gas diffusivity of A and B, A and B. Okay, so if we look at the correlation which we are going to make use, we have a Wilkie-Lee correlation where DAB is equal to B into square root of T cube into 1 by MA plus 1 by MB divided by P into sigma AB square into ID. Okay, so where is B? We have an expression for B, which is again a function 7 minus 2.46 into square root of 1 by MA plus terms of meter square per second. We have sigma AB in Armstrong. We have P term to be substituted in atmosphere. We have I0 collision integral, okay, dimensionless, and we have MA and MB molecular masses kg per kg mole, and then temperature T, which should be in absolute temperature. Okay, and we have seen the what are the, we have lecture number 15, we have seen what is Knudsen diffusion. There we have defined correlation which we are going to use for determining the mean free path. Okay, lambda value is 3.2 mu by P into RT by 2 pi GCM power 0.5, and we have average mean velocity which is square root of 8 RT by pi into MA, and we have flux expression dE into dP by RT dx, or you can say dE by RT into PA1 minus PA2 by length of the pore. And if the length of the pore is not uniform, we can always replace dE value from with effective diffusivity, so which is a function of molecular diffusivity and your Knudsen diffusivity effectively. Okay, so that when we have a term called alpha, which is defined as 1 plus NB by NA, where NB will be 0 for unimolecular diffusion, right? NB will be 0 for unimolecular diffusion. Accordingly, you will have change in this expression. And similarly for equimolar counter diffusion, we will have Na equal to minus Nb, so this term will become 0. So accordingly, you will have relationship between effective diffusivity overall and individual means Knudsen effective diffusivity and molecular effective diffusivity. Okay, I think with all these equations we can proceed to solve the numerical. Okay, so we have this expression, so please refer to lecture number 16 where I have explained you this expression. So if you know effective diffusivity of the macropore, porosity of the macropore, effective diffusivity of the micropore, and porosity of the micropore, if these four parameters are known, we can make use of this expression to obtain the final answer. Okay, so that is the total objective of this problem, but it involves various steps. So slowly practice this problem, so follow the instructions given, and I am also trying to solve this problem. Please follow my instructions. Okay, so first please write down the given data. Whatever data is given we can write down, right? So please write down them. So So here please note there are two type of pores, macro pores and micro pores. For both we have to find out what is the Knudsen number. Okay, accordingly we are going to find Knudsen diffusivity, all that, then we will proceed. Okay, so what are the data given for us? So we have okay, so first we have to make use of two tables. Let me write that. From table 1 we are going to make use of what is ethane, what is hydrogen, then is the respective values. Okay, so we have ethane value 4.418, that is the value of sigma, that is your parameter, and we have epsilon by k. Okay, epsilon A by k Kelvin, so the value is 230. For hydrogen the values are 2.915 and 38. Okay, similarly from table 2 please refer to lecture number 16, where I have given you full table of 1 and 2. So in exam any particular compound will be taken from the table 1 and 2. So data will not be given, you have to refer to table 1 and 2 here. Okay, and if you look at table 2 for the values of epsilon t, okay, kt by epsilon, we have the values of diffusion integral. Okay, so for every kt by value we have data, so we can refer accordingly. Whatever data we going to get, we will make use. Means whatever is your kt by epsilon value, we will make use of the corresponding value. 0.7197, 0.5373, 0.474, 0.4418, 0.4211. Okay, so we have to make use of this table 1 and 2. Okay, so what are the other data given, we can write down. So what are the data given? So given data, so the given data are temperature is given 100 degrees Celsius, which is 373 Kelvin. Pressure is given 1 atmosphere. If we can substitute in atmosphere wherever specified, or if you want to substitute, we will substitute in kilopascal, not 1.325 kilopascal. Okay, and we know mu value, viscosity is 10 power minus 5 kg per meter second. So that is the viscosity is given. Okay, and there are other things given, which is there are two volume of the pellet data is given. Please refer to pellet data. So what is pellet? Each pellet weighing 3.15 grams. Okay, pellet, each pellet weight is 3.15 gram, and it has a volume, total volume of the pellet is 3.22 centimeter cube. Okay, so that we can write 3.15 grams. Each pellet is 3.15 grams, that is the mass of the pellet, and then volume of the pellet is, each volume of the pellet is given 3.22 centimeter cube. Similarly, now we are going to come across macropores and micropores in each pellet. Each pellet contains macropores and micropores. Okay, so if you look at the macropores, the diameter data, whatever data given for macropore and micropore, we have to write down. Okay, so for macropore, data given is volume is 0.645 centimeter cube, and radius is given as 750 Armstrong. Okay, well that means that diameter is equal to diameter of the pore is, diameter of the radius of the pore is this, diameter of the pore is 2 times radius, that is 2 into 750. So we get 1500 Armstrong. Okay, so this is the diameter of the pore. Similarly, for micropore, data is given like radius is 50 Armstrong, which means diameter is 2 times radius, that is 100 Armstrong. Okay, so diameter is given, and it is given that volume is like volume is specific volume type, it is given. It is per unit mass, what is the mass volume, it is given. So what is the value given? So it is given that micropore volume is 0.40 centimeter cube per gram. 0.40 centimeter cube per gram. 0.40 centimeter cube per gram. So that means, so what is the total gram of pellets? Accordingly, 3.15 gram. What will be the volume? We should know. Okay, for per gram of catalyst, we have 0.40 centimeter cube is the volume. So these are the data given. Okay, now so this data is given, so we can find out what is the density of the solid. Okay, so density of the solid, what is the density of the solid? Rho equal to Pm by RT, right? Rho equal to Pm by RT. So what is density of hydrogen? Pure hydrogen. Okay, so what is the density of hydrogen? So density of hydrogen is, you can say this is, for this purpose we can substitute in same value, or we can say that total pressure is 101,325 Pascal divided by 8314 Pascal meter cube kilomole Kelvin. Okay, molecular weight of hydrogen is 2 kg per kg mole. Okay, so that is hydrogen H2. Okay, so don't make mistake here. Then temperature is 100 degrees Celsius, that is 373 Kelvin. So show the unit tally. So you get density in terms of kg per meter cube. So we get density value 0.06535. Okay, so that is the density of hydrogen. Okay, now so we can find out lambda, right? To find lambda, what we should do first? To find lambda, we should find mean molecular velocity of A. Okay, so what is mean velocity of A? You can determine that also, right? So please write mean molecular velocity. That is average molecular velocity U bar. So we have U bar is given by square root of, please write the formula, 8 into RT divided by pi into MA. Okay, so please substitute the values. Square root of 8 into, in Pascal we have to substitute, remember, because in the formula for lambda we will have denominator P term, so that P will be in Pascal, accordingly this R will be in Pascal units. So that's why here also I made use of Pascal units. Okay, 8314 into temperature is 373 Kelvin. Okay, oh, this is pi, right? So 3.14 into 2. Okay, so what is this value? This is in meter per second. So get mean molecular velocity U bar is equal to, so please use your calculator. Eight into 8314 into 373 divided by 3.14 divided by 2 is equal to this much. Okay, square root of answer equal to So you will be getting around 1987. So whatever value you get, you please write that value. Please comment your answer also. So we get around 1987.56 or 6. Okay, meter per second. Please write your all subject to verification by the learners. Okay, subject to verification. Okay, so once we get this thing, you can find out what is lambda, because lambda is the function of this u bar. Okay, so no, let me write that. What is the formula for lambda? Lambda is equal to 3.2 mu by p rt by 2 pi gc into ma over 0.5. It's not function of u bar. So 3.2 mu by p into rt by 2 pi gcm 0.5. So we can substitute the values. We have 3.2 into mu is the viscosity, which is given as 10 power minus 5 Pascal second. We have to substitute. Remember, when you write the formula, you write in which unit we have to substitute. So clearly it is defined in lecture number 15. Okay, so which unit we have to substitute? Mu, p, r, t, m and all. Okay, so 3.2 into 10 power 5 divided by Pascal is 101.325 Pascal. R value is 8314. Temperature is 100 degrees, so 373 Kelvin, divided by 2 into 3.14 into Gc is 1 in SI units, into molecular weight of hydrogen is 2 power 0.5. Okay, so what is the value? Please use your calculator. 3.2 into 10 power minus 5 divided by 101.325 into, open the bracket, 8314 into 373 divided by 2 divided by 3.14 divided by 1 divided by 2, close the bracket, raised to the power of 0.5, which is equal to, remember we have to substitute pressure in Pascal, mu viscosity in Pascal second, R value in 8314 Pascal meter cube per kilomole Kelvin, molecular weight kg per kg mole or gram per gram mole. Okay, that way Gc is equal to 1. So with that we can substitute to get the value. So we will be getting, so this should be in the range of Armstrong. Okay, Armstrong, ANG, here N, here M. Okay, we know that 1 angstrom is equal to 10 power minus 10 meters. Conversion factor we all know. Okay, so once we have this lambda value equal to this much Armstrong, please comment your value. Again, it is subject to verification by the learners. So we are getting around 1570 angstroms. Okay, so now we have to determine the Knudsen number for both cases, both two type of pores here. So we obviously have two type of pore. One is macro pore and another one is micro pore. So for micro pore, as we have already written the given data, so diameter is known, lambda is same, right? So lambda is whatever value you are getting, please calculate and write. So value is 1570. Diameter for micro pore is, we have seen it is 100. angstrom. So in the given data, I have written how we got this. So what is Knudsen number is defined as the ratio of mean free path by diameter of the pore is equal to 1570 divided by 100. So we are going to get 15.7. Okay, so which is very much greater than 1, which means that what is predominant in micropores? Knudsen diffusion is predominant. Mass transfer is predominantly Knudsen diffusion. So predominantly taking place by Knudsen diffusion. Okay, so because when Knudsen number equal to 1, both will take place. When Knudsen number is very much greater than 1, predominantly what we have is Knudsen diffusion taking place. Okay, similarly we can find what is the Knudsen number for macropore. What is the diameter? Radius is 750 angstrom, mean diameter is 1500 angstrom. So lambda is already 1570 angstrom. Okay, so we can find what is the Knudsen number for macro. Knudsen number for macro, Knudsen number for mu, that is micropores. Okay, so Knudsen number for macropore is again lambda by d, which is 1570 divided by 1500. So which we are going to get almost equal value, right? So you can see that 1.046. Okay, see, some people use, we are using Knudsen number value, some people use d by lambda value also, in the reverse of it also. Okay, that also we can parallelly calculate. So what is d by lambda here? Here d by lambda is 0.0637. Here d by lambda value is 0.956, inverse of it. Okay, so in either way we can say what is predominant here. Okay, so here the value is this. So what you can say, when Knudsen number is close to 1, what is predominant here? Is it molecular diffusion predominant or Knudsen diffusion predominant, or both are taking place? Okay, so here when the value is close to 1, we have to say mass transfer is both, mass transfer is controlled by both molecular diffusion as well as, what is that another one? Knudsen diffusion. Knudsen diffusion. Okay, so can we find DAB? So this is only for Knudsen number, whatever to be done. But to find DAB value, you should first, okay, this is one stage. Another stage is to find DAB value using the empirical equation, where we need to make use of sigma AB and ID. So to get sigma AD and ID value for these cases, we can first proceed to make use of the data given in the table 1 and 2. Okay, shall we proceed? Please write down whatever has been done so far. We'll proceed further. So what is the procedure? I will tell first. Procedure is, first we have to take the sigma A value and the sigma B value from the table 1. Okay, similarly we will get epsilon by k value, epsilon A by k value from the table, same table 1. From table 1 we will get sigma value, sigma B value, we will get epsilon by k value for both. What is A? We are assuming A to be hydrogen and B to be ethane. Okay, so from the table 1, refer what are the data for hydrogen and ethane and get the data. Okay, so refer to table 1. What is table 1? So these are the data we have. Okay, sigma value is 2.915 for hydrogen, sigma is 4.418 for ethane, epsilon by k value is 38 for hydrogen, 230 for ethane. Okay, so we are going to make use of that value first to find sigma AB. Okay, so then you will substitute here. Okay, So what is sigma A value? From that we have sigma A value is 2.915. Correct me if I am wrong. You follow what is there in the table. Okay. 4.418. Epsilon by A value for A is 38. You can say epsilon by K for A, epsilon by K for B. So which is 230 Kelvin. Strictly speaking, we have seen in process calculation, Kelvin should be written without degree, because we degree Celsius, degree Fahrenheit. For Kelvin we write only K, but here we are just distinguishing with small k is there, na, Boltzmann constant. To differentiate that, we can still use that degree. That should differentiate between. Anyway, we are writing capital K. You should not misunderstand what I am writing. So these are all Kelvin K. Small k is Boltzmann constant. Okay. So here K is there, no? This small k is Boltzmann constant. Okay. So now we have sigma A, sigma B. What is the formula for sigma AB? We have seen that it is equal to sigma A plus sigma B by 2. Right? So what is the value? Sigma A is 2.915 plus 4.418 divided by 2 is equal to this much. So please get the value of sigma AB. These both are in angstrom. So this also will be in angstrom. So what is that? In between 3 and 4.4, how much you will get? 3.6 you are going to get. Okay, so we will get around 3.667. Please verify it, subject to verification. Okay, so and we have epsilon dAB. What is the formula for epsilon dAB by K? Equal to, this is geometric ratio, right? So it is epsilon dA by K into epsilon B by K. Okay, so that way we are having both the values taken from the table. It is 38 to 30. So 38 into 230. So what is the value? 38 into 230 is square root of, please use your calculator, square root of 38, square root of bracket 38 into 230 equal to 93.487. So 93.487, which is 49, which can be written as 93.5. I am writing 93.5, you write 3 digits. Okay. So this is again epsilon by K, which will be in degree Kelvin. Okay. So if this is our value, what I told you, we have to do T by epsilon dAB by K. That is your KT by epsilon dAB. What is our temperature? It is 373 Kelvin. What is epsilon dA by K? Epsilon dAB by K, it is 93.5 degree Kelvin. Okay. So what is the value? So it is around, you are getting KT by epsilon dAB value. How much it is? 9 4s are 48, 36. 9 4s are 36. So you will be getting around 4. Check it. 373 divided by 93.5. 373 divided by 93.5 is 3.99. Okay, so we are getting around 3.99, which we can take it as 4. Okay, so we are rounding it to 4 so that we are making use of table data. So corresponding ID value from table 2. So that is, you have data of KT by epsilon AB versus ID. In that we are having for 4 what is the corresponding value. Please refer to table 2, the corresponding value. So you can see that clearly. For 4 what is the corresponding value? Okay, 0.4418. So that is what we have to take from table 2. So for any material you have to take the corresponding value. So this is what corresponding to, okay, this is for any material only. So whatever is the KT by epsilon AB value, you will get the corresponding ID value. Okay. So what is the corresponding ID value? 0.4418. So we are getting 0.4418 as the corresponding ID value. Okay. So can we substitute in expression for B? What we are, please recall what is the reaction taking place here. Reaction taking place is T2H4 plus H2 giving C2H6. Simple. In the nickel surface, hydrogen is getting absorbed. Once C2H4 comes in contact, so they form C2H6. Okay. So this is Na and this is of Nb, and they are in the ratio of 1:1. Okay, 1 mole of hydrogen, 1 mole of zinc. So you have Na equal to minus Nb. We have seen the formula, right? Na by A, this is reactant, minus equal to Nb by B, which is product. So we have 1. So we get Na equal to minus Nb. Okay. So with that we are going to have corresponding alpha value 1 plus Nb by Na. What happens? We can find out. Okay. So we can make use of the equations as I shown you in the beginning of this lecture. We have to make use of this expression. Please make use to find what is B value first. So to find what is DAB, first we are determining B. To find B, first we can find the B value, then substitute sigma AB value and ID value, temperature MAMB. You can substitute all these value in this expression to get what is DAB. Okay, please proceed to get the value. Now what is B value? B is equal to 10.7 minus 2.46 into square root of 1 by MA plus 1 by MB. So this total bracket into 10 power minus 8. That is the formula, right, from the correlation. So what is the B value? We are going to get in terms of 10 power minus 8. So please write. You are going to get 7.3 digits. You write. I'll also calculate. Please use your own calculator. 10.7 minus 2.46 into square root of, again one bracket, 1 divided by MA. What is MA? 2. Close the bracket. And plus again open bracket, 1 divided by 30. How much you are getting? We get around 8 or 7.8. You get the 7.8, 7.9 or 8.1 maximum. Okay, let me write 7 point. So this is your B value. So we can substitute in the expression DAB is equal to B into square root of T cube into 1 by MA plus 1 by MB divided by P into sigma AB square into ID. So this we have calculated. Pressure should be substituted in atmosphere here. Okay, this is empirical equation, and it is mentioned P should be substituted in atmosphere, not in Pascal. Okay, so this you refer to lecture number 16, where we have defined these expressions and explained in detail. Okay, so please substitute all the values to get what is DAB. So we have DAB is equal to 7.814 into 10 power minus 8. Again, this is answers are subject to verification by the learners. 7.814 into 10 power minus 8 into square root of T cube is 373 cube. Okay, into 1 by 2 plus 1 by 30 divided by pressure is 1 atmosphere into sigma AB value we have determined. How much you got? Sigma value 3.667 Armstrong. 3.667 Armstrong square. Okay, into what is ID value? We got ID value here to be 0.4418. 0.4418. So what is your DAB value? DAB value is, we will get in the range of 10 power minus 5 meter square per second. So 6 point, hit the 3 digits you get. This is your calculator and do it yourself. Okay, so once we are done with determining what is DAB, we can proceed to find what is Knudsen diffusivity. Okay, so Knudsen diffusivity takes place for both in macropore and micropore we have to find. Okay, so that is when diameter is equal to 1500 Armstrong and when the diameter is equal to 100 Armstrong, we have to find Knudsen diffusivity. So that is D equal to 1500 is what? Macropores, and D is equal to 100 Armstrong is micropores. So what is Knudsen diffusivity for? We can say DAK. What is the general formula for Knudsen diffusivity? DAK is equal to, what is that? D by 3 square root of, this is for U bar, D by 3 U bar, what is 8 RT by I into MA. Okay, remember this D is in meters. This D has to be substituted in meters. So far whatever we are using is angstrom. So that here we are in this formula of Knudsen diffusivity, D is defined in terms of meters, R is in your 8314, that is Pascal units, that is Pascal meter cube per kilomole Kelvin. T is in absolute Kelvin, absolute temperature in Kelvin. MA is your molecular weight of A. Okay, so that is the formula for DA, which is D by 3 U bar, right? So that's what I was making mistake, that U bar is used in Knudsen diffusivity. Okay, so both the diameters we have substitute. This U bar value we have already determined. What is the U bar value we have already determined? So we have already determined the u bar value equal to, u bar value is already determined as 1987.58. Where we have determined u bar value? We have this u bar value 1987.6. Okay, so in the beginning, that's why we calculated and kept it ready. U bar is square root of 8RT by MA pi into MA 1987.6 meter per second. Okay, and use 3 digits. I just rounded here. Okay, so that way that will be made use here. So u bar is 1987.6. I wrote, okay, 58 also. So that u bar is same here also, right? So u bar is 1987.6. I round it and use it. Okay, so what is this? U bar value is known, d by 3 is known, dak can be found out, right? So dak can be found now. Okay, general formula, dak equal to d by 3 by u bar. Okay, d by 3 u bar. So substitute d value, u bar value. Only difference is d should be substituted in meters. Okay, so can we do that? So first we will do for macro pores. For macro pore, what you have is dak m. Let me say for macro pore, let me write with subscript m. Macro pores, okay, equal to 3 times u bar 1987.6 divided by, 3 is in the denominator. Okay, dak m equal to d by 3. So diameter here is 1500 Armstrong into 10 power minus 10 meters divided by 3 into 1987.6. So we get dak, this one. How much? Please write. We'll get in the range of 10 power minus 5 meters square per second. Okay, very simple calculation. Use your calculator. 1000 by 3 is 500. 500 into 10 power minus 10 into 2000, almost 1987.6. So we should get around 10. Okay, so get a value around 10. 3 digits you write. So let me write, calculate it. $1,500 into 1987.6 divided by 3 into minus 10. We can put 5 digits here, minus 5 there. So 9.94, 938. Okay, so you'll be getting around 9.938. Please comment your answers also. This is subject to verification by the learners. Okay, so we have dak for macro pores. Similarly, what is the dak for micro pores? It is 100 Armstrong. So 100 into 10 power minus 10 meters by 3 into 1987.6. So how to write? Now what is the value? Say again, if you make use of the calculator. 1987.6 into 100 divided by 3. Again it is coming around 0.66 into 10 power minus 5 or 6.625. So you write what you are getting. Okay, so for I told you to follow 5 digits, after decimal 4 digits. Okay, so we write in terms of minus 5 meter square per second. If we write in -5, we are getting 0.66 something. So that's why we adjust here in terms of 10 power minus 6. So it is 6.625 into 10 power minus 6 meter square per second. Okay, again look at this reaction that is taking place. So we have hydrogenation of ethylene to ethane, C2H4 reacts with hydrogen giving C2H6. Okay, so as I already explained you, it is Na by A equal to minus Nb by B. So A and B are equal to 1. So we have the relationship between Na and Nbs minus 1. So we have Na equal to minus Nb, which means that alpha value we are going to have accordingly here. Okay, so which I have explained some time back. So that is that. Okay, so we have alpha value, I told you, no. So the reaction taking place is T2H4 plus H2 giving C2H6, Na equal to minus Nb. So with that, so what we can do is, so we have alpha value is equal to 1 plus Nb by Na. So this is as per definition. Then what is the relationship when Na equal to minus Nb under this condition? So we can say that alpha is equal to 1 plus Nb is nothing but minus Na. Okay. So it means minus 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So we have alpha equal to 0 for equimolar counter diffusion cases. Okay. So we have equimolar counter diffusion taking place. So for equimolar counter diffusion, so we have to make use, so we have to find D effective. We have to find D effective for both cases. What is the relationship when that is taking place? We have seen that D for M. So generally I will write first D effective is 1 by DAB effective plus 1 by DAK effective. So that is effective. Okay. So this DM effective is, the M refers to macropores. Okay. So for macropores, we can write the subscript of dm, and for micropores we will write d mu, right? So once we find these two, we can find out what is overall d. Okay, so that is the remaining steps for in this problem. Okay, so generally we have the relationship simplified for this when alpha equal to 0. When alpha is equal to 0, that is 1 plus nb by na. In equimolar counter diffusion, this term is equal to 0. So we have D effective formula is simplified to this version, and you have, we see this equation is to be done for macropore and micropores in the pellet. Okay, so we have determined all the values. Okay, so we'll rewrite it just for simplification. So what is the formula for dm? For d macropores, it is going to be 1 by DAB. So DAB is going to be same for both cases, right? So DAB effective is going to be the same plus okay. So 1 by DAK effective for macropores. Similarly, what is D micropore? Equal to 1 by DAB effective plus 1 by DAK effective for micropores. We have determined all the values. Okay. So what is DAB effective? DAB effective we have already determined, and the value we have calculated is 6.92 into 10 power minus 5 meter square per second. Okay. So then what is DAK effective M for macropores? We have calculated it to be 9.94 into 10 power minus 5, and DAK effective for micropore is 6.6 into 10 power minus 6, right? So just substitute them. This is a simple substitution. As so fill up that value. DAB effective is 6.92 into 10 power minus 5. Here DAK effective for macropores is 9.94 into 10 power minus 5. 6.92 into 10 power minus 5. Here it is 6.62 into 10 power minus 6. Be careful, usually we write minus 5. Okay, so this is your d mu, this is your dm. What is the value? This is your calculator. So all are inverse here, so substitute carefully because we have inverse values here. Please put proper brackets in the calculator while you are calculating. So please write the value of dm and d mu. Please use your calculator. I am doing my calculation. So you will be getting in the range of 10 power minus 5 meter square per second for both values, or one will be in the range of 10 power minus 5, so another one will be in the range of 10 power minus 6. So we have dm in the range of 10 power minus 5 meter square per second, d mu in the range of 10 power minus 6 meter square per second. So I will write what I got, and all the values are subject to verification by the learners. 4.1 into 10 power minus 5. So you write 3 digits. Similarly, d mu we will get 6 point. I got 0. So you write 3 digits. 6.1 into 10 power minus 6 meter square per second. So please comment your dm and d mu value, all of you. So I am rounding it for single digit, you please do it for 3 digits. So we have the expression for the relationship between dm and d mu. Okay, I have not written here, we will write it again. So please refer to previous lecture where we have explained that in detail what is the relationship between dm and d mu is given by, because we know that d effective is a function of dm and d mu. So we have the expression, so V effective is equal to, so dm into epsilon m square plus bracket open epsilon mu square into 1 plus 3 epsilon dA m divided by 1 minus epsilon m. Please refer to lecture number 16, we have explained that. 1 minus epsilon m, close the bracket, into 10 power into d mu. So we have d mu value, we have dm value, we have epsilon m value, we have epsilon mu value. Substitute all the 4 values. What is epsilon m and epsilon mu? Porosity of macropores and porosity of micropore. Please refer to lecture 16, we have defined what is porosity, all that in detail. So we have value epsilon m for macropores, and we have dm for effective diffusivity of macropore. We have epsilon mu for micropores, so that is a micropore porosity. So we have calculated the values. How to calculate? So we have macropore volume divided by total volume of the pellet. So all the data are given in the question. Please refer to the question and substitute the values. Also we have written the given data. Similarly you write porosity of micropore is equal to micropore volume per unit mass is given. So micropore volume per unit mass multiplied by total mass of the pellets. Per unit mass is given. We know what is the mass of the pellet, right? So mass of the pellet we can substitute, and divided by same denominator, total volume of the pellet. Please refer to lecture 16 where we have explained this. So total volume of the pellet. So all four values we know. Okay, please substitute. So what is macropore volume? So it is given, please refer to the question and write. It is given as 0.645 centimeter cube divided by centimeter cube divided by 3.22 into centimeter, 3.22 centimeter cube. So we get centimeter cube getting cancelled, porosity having no unit. Okay, so it has no unit, so please substitute the value. What is that? 0.64. You have to substitute in the same units. If you are substituting in centimeter cube or in meter cube, okay, whatever, it should be in same unit, so you will get the correct answer. Okay, so epsilon m equal to, please use your calculator, I am also calculating, 0.645 divided by 3.22. 0.645 divided by 3.22. Yes, so we get 0.2. Okay, please write what you are getting. Okay, I got 0.200. Similarly, epsilon mu is equal to micropore volume per mass is given. Please refer to the question. Let us go to the question. 0.40. So what is the question? You can see that it is micropore volume is 0.40 centimeter cube per gram, and it is given. Okay, so per gram it is given, and we know what is the pellet weight. 3.15 gram is the pellet of each pellet weight, right? So we have 0.40 centimeter cube per gram multiplied by 3.15 gram divided by 3.22 centimeter cube gives us epsilon mu. Okay, so move to the board and please write the values. Please use your calculator. So we have 0.40 centimeter cube per gram multiplied by 3.15 grams. So gram gets cancelled. That is the gram of one pellet. Okay, so 3.22 centimeter cube is the volume of one pellet. So centimeter cube get cancelled, gram get cancelled. We have unitless epsilon mu value, which is 0.4 divided by 3.22. So what is the value? 0.4 by 3.22 is 0.391 is what I get. Please, it's subject to verification by you. Please write what is your answer. Okay, so it has no units. We have epsilon m and epsilon mu and dm and d mu. So now we substitute values in the given relationship. So what is the relationship? So we have this d equal to dm into epsilon m square plus epsilon mu square plus 1 plus 3 epsilon m by 1 minus epsilon m into d mu. Okay, please substitute these values. I just cut paste into the PPT for my future reference. Okay, you please substitute all the 4 value. We have 4 values only to substitute in this. Okay, please substitute. Substituting all the 4 values, we have first write what are the 4 values. I am just rewriting the formula here. So we have d equal to dm into epsilon m square plus bracket epsilon mu square into 1 plus 3 epsilon m divided by 1 minus epsilon m into d mu. Okay, so remember there is epsilon m in many places and epsilon mu only in one place with square. Okay, so please substitute that. We have all the values. dm value we know, d mu value we know epsilon m value, we know epsilon mu value, right? Porosity of A and B, porosity of macropore, porosity of micropore, effective diffusivity of macropore, effective diffusivity in micropore. So substituting all the 4 So substitute all the values from the, we have calculated all the values, please substitute them. dm is 4.1 into 10 power minus 5 into 0.2 square plus 0.391 square into 1 plus 3 times 0.2 divided by 1 minus 0.2 divided by 1 minus 0.2 into d mu value, so which is 6.04 into 10 power minus 6. So we have, so we will get, what we get is the final answer. Okay, please use your calculator, come on. So you will get in the range of 10 power minus 6 meter square per second. Please comment your answer, all of you. So it's important that you comment your answer with your roll number. I am going to award some internal marks for it. So you will be getting in the range of 10 power minus 6 meter square per second. I will repeat. So we have overall effective diffusivity for a macropore and micropore is a function of effective diffusivity in macropore and effective diffusivity in the micropore. So it is a function of it, both of them. So we have this expression. So dE equal to dm epsilon m square plus epsilon mu square into 1 plus 3 epsilon m by 1 minus epsilon m into d mu. So we have substituted all the four values which we have calculated earlier and obtained the final answer in the range of 10 power minus 6 meter square per second. Okay, so please write your answer, comment your answer along with your roll number. Well, so in this lecture number 17, we have discussed about a numerical on combined effective diffusivity. When we have a pellets where macropores as well as micropores are present, how to determine the overall combined effective diffusivity. Okay, so once we know this combined effective diffusivity, we can substitute in the flux equation, right? Flux equation is given by Na equal to dAb into dP by dx. Okay, so you can dP by dx by RT. Okay, so that way this d effectiveness, overall combined effective diffusivity can be used to determine the flux expression. Flux Na equal to d overall combined effective diffusivity into dP by dx RT. Okay, RT, or you can say RTL also. Okay, fine. So with that we are completing module number 1. So in the module number 2 we are going to discuss about convective mass transfer. So far whatever we have discussed is all about molecular diffusion or Knudsen diffusion that is taking place. Okay, so in the next model, when we are moving away from this molecular diffusion, so we should know the difference between what is molecular diffusivity and eddy diffusivity. So if we are having an additional term, because there is, if this turbulence is there, always eddy will be there. So there will be contribution of diffusivity or flux, contribution for the flux based on the effect eddies formed. So we can say that a contribution due to molecular diffusion is a function of dAb. Similarly, we can say the contribution from eddy is present in the turbulence conditions. We can say epsilon d can be defined. So we overall flux can be given as J flux equal to d. Instead of simply writing dAb, we will replace it with minus of dAb plus epsilon dA. Okay, epsilon dAb concentration gradient dCA by dx, right? So one dimensional. Okay, so even we can do continuity equation for mass transfer. If you want to extend this, somebody was asking in the lecture, right? So what if the diffusion is taking place in x, y and z directions? So that's what we are going to learn in another course, transport phenomena. Still we will derive that equation of continuity for mass transfer. Okay, I think even for momentum transfer, equation of continuity was derived in fluid mechanics course. So in this mass transfer course we will derive equation of continuity for mass transfer. Okay, so with that, because actually at the end of that one we are going to say what is Fick's second law of diffusion. First law of diffusion we have seen J flux is proportional to concentration gradient, right? So we are going to derive say Fick's second law. Okay, we will see what is the final expression for Fick's second law at least in the next lecture. Thank you so much for joining my classroom. If you have any doubts, please feel free to contact me. Thank you. Bye bye. Please practice this problem carefully, slowly. Okay, only practice makes one perfect. Okay, see you.